Welcome back to the 12th annual Halloween special. Tonight we're talking about Dog Soldiers, Neil Marshall's directorial debut. He made this film right before he made The Descent. And the film's about a British squad that's sent on a training mission in the Highlands of Scotland. They hear scary campfire stories about disappearances in the area, but they continue with their mission until they come across the bloody remains of a special ops squad. What began as a training mission turns into a battle for their lives against the most unlikely enemies they would have expected: werewolves. Dog Soldiers is one of those movies that the horror community loves. Everybody likes this movie. It gets passed around a lot. People talk about it. But when you encounter the casual horror fan, they maybe never saw it. My best friend had never seen this movie, and he has seen so many horror films. So we sat down last night and watched it for the first time for him. And he likes to watch movies with the subtitles, and so we chose to put them on. And this was like my third or fourth time seeing Dog Soldiers, and I have to say, I caught more than I ever have with this dialogue because there's quite a bit of British slang in this film. He loved it, and I always have too. Dog Soldiers, to me, feels like a lower budget version of Predator except with werewolves. And you can see the seams sometimes. You can see where they're really trying to cut around things that maybe weren't as great as Neil Marshall would have preferred, but this is a first feature. And for a first feature, it's a fucking miracle. This is such an entertaining film with tons of gunfire, great werewolf costumes, lots of action shot on beautiful 16mm film. And what is perhaps the most impressive thing about Dog Soldiers, the acting. Everyone in this film is magnificent. It's probably the first time I ever took notice of Liam Cunningham and Sean Pertwee, as well as Kevin McKidd. These three actors in particular play off each other so well. It doesn't feel like they're in a movie that has werewolves. It feels like they're soldiers who are trapped, trying to survive with a very long and storied history. You're with these guys for a brief amount of time and really only in a couple locations. And you're meant to understand that they've been through the ringer. And you feel that just with the way they talk with one another and the way they handle themselves with each other. It has that same feel that Predator did. That film, you're in a jungle with a squad of guys, and from the way they talk and handle themselves, you really get a sense of their history. That movie had a lot more money than Dog Soldiers did, which is another reason the film is so impressive, because despite limited resources, Marshall pulls off a movie that feels so much bigger than it is, which really is the best compliment you can give a filmmaker. If you know or suspect that perhaps their budget was kind of low, and it doesn't feel that way, and you're not even thinking about it while watching it, then that's a successful movie in my mind. The character work in this movie is so strong that even some of the minor characters really shine through, and you do care about them. There's one guy in particular named Spoon, who's so much fun in the movie, and when he's up against one of these werewolves and says, "I hope I give you the shits," it's a line that could be really funny, but it actually came off super badass. Like, yeah, if you're gonna eat me, I hope I really fuck up your intestines. Speaking of intestines, there's an injury in this film that they get a lot out of. It's a sequence that goes from the forest into a house, and it's continuing, and later on there's a dog pulling at a bandage. And the first time I saw it, I didn't think it was a bandage, and from what I understand, a lot of other people have had that experience too. This movie has a lot of impressive prosthetics and makeup where you feel the injuries. They seem very realistic. This film came out in 2002, but it wasn't until like the mid-2000s that I started hearing about it a lot. People really were sharing this movie and referencing it as a film that should be seen. A lot of eye-popping critic quotes that compared it to movies like Jaws, Aliens, and Predator made it feel like I had to watch this movie. And eventually, I believe I saw it like on late night TV. I can't remember exactly if it was like a DVD rental from the library or if it was on TV. But I distinctly remember initially thinking, oh, this looks like really low budget. Because at the time I was young and I wasn't quite initiated into the ins and outs of independent film versus mainstream film and all of that stuff. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is like a low budget TV movie or something stupid like that. But within 10 minutes, it was very clear that so much skill was being put into this that I stopped thinking about that, which is exactly the experience I had the first time I saw The Evil Dead. Again, not old enough to really appreciate it like I should. I love that movie now, just like I love Dog Soldiers, but both of those films have that same sort of visceral gut punch as a first-time filmmaker, really announcing themselves especially in the genre space, and bringing about something that can bring the horror community together and just really enjoy some gnarly kills, using a blueprint that has been explored somewhat in other films, but really elevating it with these characters and the fantastic acting. I really think the acting at the end of the day is one of the reasons Dog Soldiers works so well. Of course, any movie can live and die on its performers, but especially a creature feature. Because when it comes to monster movies, there is a very thin line between 2 a.m. on the Sci-Fi Channel and theatrical premiere. If you've never seen Dog Soldiers, I won't get into any spoilers about how things progress. It's not like a movie that you really spoil. Some people die, some people don't. It's one of those movies. But I just don't want to ruin anything for you, because my friend who had seen a billion movies hadn't seen this, and we had a great time watching it last night. I hope this Halloween you guys have a fun time with it. I've never reviewed The Descent. I'd also like to do that. Maybe this year, I don't know. But if I don't do it this year, I'll try to grab it next year. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching. Look forward to more videos in the 12th annual Halloween special. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.